on the beach in Hawaii.
Welcome back. It's Smoking and Toasting, and we are here to talk about Avengers Endgame. No, I'm just kidding. We're craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. Show number 138 with Eureka Heights in the house, and we are brought to you by our good friends and countrymen and bacon lovers to the max at B&B Butchers and Restaurant. By the way, B&B is located at 1814 Washington Ave in Houston. B&B Lemons across the street. It's a wonderful pub. And the steakhouse is also in the shops at Clear Fork in Fort Worth. Ian and I had dinner there with our wives. And honestly, the best steak I've had in at least several years.
So good.
Was the steak that I had that night.
Good.
It was just fantastic. B&B Italia. Thank you, Adam, on the Wheels of Steel is reminding me. BB Italia, I believe,
BB
just
Italia,
opened
new one.
downtown Houston. So have not had a chance to try that out yet, but that is on the list. So, Ian, I see you are already showing the beer cam.
I'm playing the role of Mr. Twirly
yes,
right now.
You're doing a great job.
And yeah, you really have stepped up, Ian, and I appreciate that. So this is called So Hot Right Now.
Yeah, so it is. It goes well with the summer heat right now. It also goes well with this type of beer.
It also smells like you just threw a Christmas wreath down in front of me.
It straight up does. Yeah, it's very very aromatic. This New England IPA, or better known as a hazy IPA, is appropriately titled So Hot Right Now because it kind of is, for lack of a better words, the new fad beer. Like, it is the thing that people are all about right now. They like hazy IPA. Either you like hazy IPAs and you're obsessing about it, or you don't.
So
this is orange juice.
yeah, I'm just going to tell you right now, this is my favorite thing you guys have ever
This is my
brewed.
favorite orange juice I think I've ever
It is
done.
very juicy.
It is
very
This
very
would go
juicy.
incredibly terrible with toothpaste.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah,
Find me a good beer that goes
the
well
beer
with
and
toothpaste.
toothpaste pairing is definitely not on. No, this is wonderful, and it has the thing that I think some of my absolute favorite juicy IPAs have had, which is it's so juice forward that when the hops come in, they just feel very round and don't leave a lot of bitter.
It doesn't
really wonderful.
leave as much hop as I smell.
It tastes to me
like
like
it's
drinking.
aromatic and kind of a good, like the
Right.
way a good candle can be.
100%, yes.
It's like a fresh glass of
But
grapefruit
the
juice.
problem is, like, there's such a rash of IPAs that are just so hop ridiculous
Right.
that, and they smell a lot like this. So my initial like reaction to this is, ooh, that's too much. But then when you try it, you're right. The hops are rounded on the end. It really does taste like orange juice with a little hop on the end. It's pretty ridiculous. I can't think of anything about this I don't like, actually.
Yeah, what I love about this whole style of IPA is I feel like the whole style and the popularity that started surging on this a year and a half or so ago was a bit of a correction, if you will. You know, like a correction in the market when things go too high.
To the West Coast, let's see how much
the West Coast,
bitter we can put in
right,
the beer.
let's get as bitter and pine cone resinous hoppy as we possibly can. This was the balancer, was the great equalizer to bring IPAs back, because two things happened. Number one, this whole style exploded and became very popular. And by the way, this is a fantastic entry.
The only thing I
that.
can say down about this, aside from my initial, like, that smells a little too hoppy at first, which it tastes great, the only downside to this is almost entirely too smooth. Like, the bubbles are small and silky on this. It tastes like
It's a-
orange juice.
and
I
it's a
could
bad
slam
thing.
a glass
Why?
of this in such a small amount.
And it's
of
only
time.
a 6.5 ABV. It's
That's
not
a good
so
thing
bad.
because-
yeah.
Wow.
Wow, I could drink.
I think
could
it's
drink that in,
fantastic.
like, no time.
And the other thing that I was mentioning that I love about this particular trend is it has forced, I think, those big hoppy IPAs to balance their flavor more. These days, it feels like when somebody comes out with another one of, with another Imperial IPA and it's, packed with hops, that the flavor has more nuance and balance to it than what we were getting a couple of years ago before this trend kind of balanced things out.
Well, I'm not
So-
going to lie. Like, if I'm going down the beer aisle, like you were talking about going for style, I pass right by IPAs. Like, I don't even see them anymore hardly until I try something that happens to be exceptional. Now, there are exceptions to the rule. There are certain IPAs that are just so good that they break down those barriers for me. This I will definitely look forward
Yes,
to. But
this is something I would seek out.
This is delicious, different, unique. And I bet, like, this is an IPA you can smoke cigars with even.
Yes, absolutely.
Because it's
because
not
the
so bitter,
citrus
right.
is taking the bitter out of the equation.
Right.
And this may be one of the reasons why I'm so fond of this style, is because since IPA is my favorite style of beer, just personally,
And
but
those big pine coney
but
ones
so
don't.
many of my favorites, you can't drink them and then smoke a cigar.
No,
It's not
yellow rose and
not a good
cigars
experience.
are not
Yeah.
the best combination.
But these you can really go. Yeah, you can really go. So when a seasonal like this, you said it just came out. How long is this around?
This is only going to be around for, I would say, I don't know, 2, maybe 3 months. And it's only sold. You can buy it to go from the tap room only.
Oh,
it's not
man.
sold in accounts, but that's not a bad thing. Come see us. You drink a couple
I'll
of
be
fresh
there. I'll be-
pints and
I'll
take
be
a
there.
4-pack
Yeah.
home with you.
Well, the last time I was there, I took home a bottle, mind you, not a can.
Oh yeah.
Of 6 Demon Bag.
Oh,
And I sat and enjoyed that one night by myself. I didn't go anywhere.
that go great with a cigar too.
Oh, it did go great with a cigar. That stuff was amazing.
So first question about the So Hot right now,
Sure.
or any other seasonal brew. Is there a thing that can happen where it's so successful that you guys decide maybe this should be part of our regular lineup?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's coming up, and you'll see that with our Mandarina Pills Wow Factor. Wildly successful last year. It wasn't even packaged; it was only for draft. It
Right.
did so well in the tap room and in a lot of the accounts around town that is going to be our next lineup in our can release coming
Wow.
up in, I want to say, June. Yeah, mid-June it'll be out, and
Cool.
we'll. I think we'll replace Mostly Harmless for the time being in that spot. So Mostly Harmless is being considered right now, and our can release is a seasonal. You may see it later on down the road as a more traditional all year around. But it does, yeah. The Wow Factor is coming out next, and because of its success last year in draft sales, it's coming out for packaged.
I just want to point out, too, I rode on the Eureka Heights MS-150 team. This is the bicycle ride. From
Did you have a good time? It's
Um,
very important to me.
Yes and no. Let me. I'll tell you a couple quick things about it. First off, we started off the ride. Before we rode, we were all at the starting line, and Steven, our ride leader, ride captain, if you will, came up and he had Mostly Harmless, and we all started by chugging a Mostly Harmless.
Before you started.
Before we started, so this was it. This was it. I don't know, 7 o'clock in the morning, something like that. And that was just fine until about 10 miles in. It was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. But you get over that pretty quickly, right? Now, to answer the no part of the question, on the first day, by the time I hit the last rest stop, I was really
hurting?
doubting every decision I've ever made in my life.
It's your first time to ride?
No,
Okay.
but it's the first time in about 10 years.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So there was that.
Yep. I understand.
You guys did. I want to tell you, you guys did a great job with the whole tent where everyone stayed and everything like that. There needs to be room for people to change clothes, so they're not doing it under the covers, which is particularly tricky when you're putting on bibs. By the way,
Sure. No, we're updating that for next year for sure. Yeah, we
the food was awesome.
great. Yeah, tacos a go-go or fajitas a go-go.
The beer was awesome.
Well, you would expect, right?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
had Buckle Bunny and Wicked Awesome. I don't know what else they had, but that's all I needed.
Yeah, we had a couple IPAs out there.
Yeah.
Maybe a
But who
more
cares?
Caliente.
They had Buckle Bunny and Wicked Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so funny little story about that too is everyone has these tents, okay, and they're pretty good sized tents because we had how many people did we have riding?
40, I
Yeah,
think
40
total.
people riding.
Yeah.
We had a whole bunch of them staying in the same tent, and at the back of the tent they had the cooler with the keg set up and everything like that. Well, apparently they're sitting back there at some point and they look over and they see one of the tents that Real Ale was sponsoring. So then, of course, now you have the two breweries and they're swapping beers and having a good old time. That was
Well,
pretty
yeah,
fun.
and then Carbach and St. Arnold too.
Right.
Yeah.
And then everybody decided to come by the tent at some point in time. That was pretty
Really,
fun.
I think maybe a form of hazing. They're like, let's drink all their beer and go back to our tent.
Totally
But no,
makes
we
sense.
were stoked to be a part of it for the first year.
That was a
Looking
blast.
forward
You
to
guys
next
did a
year.
great time.
That's
Cool,
awesome.
man. I'm glad
Great
you had a good
job.
time.
Very good thing for you to be involved in too. That's really awesome. Talk to me a little bit about you guys have made your foray into the beer market, at least in the Texas area and predominantly the Houston area, by putting out what I think are really quality, I'm going to use this word in quotes, mainstream craft beers. In other words, you came out with a really great cream ale, and you did a really cool IPA, and you a lot of the breweries that I'm noticing around the country that are making names for themselves have a tendency to be doing a lot of that with these very specialty things that come out in bombers or just in the 16-ounce cans.
Are you talking about a Lucky Charms beer too? That may have been that kind of stuff.
But partially that, but I'm also talking about people who are doing really very limited kind of stouts or barley wines or maybe imperial IPAs or things that where they know that
a little more
this
niche, right?
This isn't the broad market here, but it's a way to make our. Any thoughts of a brewery like Eureka Heights kind of getting into a little bit of that game? St. Arnold, for example, does it with the Divine Reserve thing. They found a way to do. And I get it. I want to talk about that.
So we have our I want to say our annual release generally. It comes out around our anniversary, maybe a little later, called Nuke the Whales. We are on our second variation of it. We are actually today putting the third variation into Woodford Reserve barrels. So we do have that comes out annually. We obviously cellar those bottles too and age them and sell them down the road as well. Their Six Demon bag, which was our Belgian strong ale that came out. That's another one. We are actually in the process of, and I'm not going to give away the date yet, but a barley wine coming very soon.
So is this something that we should expect more of then?
Absolutely. I think as as a young brewery getting our feet wet, we're 3 years old now in August, coming in August. These are more things that you can probably expect from us.
Well, clearly you're not going to sell as much of a product like that as you're going to of a Mostly Harmless or a Buckle Bunny. But I think of it as kind of like the actor that does the big blockbuster and then he goes and does the indie film to keep his cred intact, right? And then he goes back and does Die Hard 5 or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it seems like it's a good way for somebody like you guys to be able to go, look what we can do.
Well, you have
to real hardcore aficionado.
You have to let an artist be an artist.
Right.
If you have a great brewmeister, especially someone who can brew something like Buckle Bunny, and various styles, like something from Buckle Bunny all the way up to this juicy IPA, which are very different in style, and then Six Demon bag, and then you gotta let a guy like that just at some point in time, you gotta let him do what he does.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're right. It's a way to keep the brewmaster happy.
Well, totally.
I mean, you don't hire Nick Cage to act like Samuel L. Jackson. You know what I mean?
Right. Because A, he couldn't do that.
Right.
And B, you'd be hiring Nick Cage, and
which is just weird.
And C, what were we talking about?
Well, and I'll
Avengers Endgame. I'm sorry.
Let's give away some more spoilers. No, I will say, every Thursday we do have a pilot batch release.
Yeah,
we do pilot batches all the time and try out different things and experiment.
So this is like even more rare than a specialty brew that you've worked on. This is almost like, hey, we had an idea.
Yeah.
Kind of whip this up. Tell us if we should keep going or not.
I had, we being a small brewery too, we get, every employee gets the opportunity to brew a beer with Casey, our head brewmaster.
That's awesome.
And so my annual beer this year was a Goza that I wanted to taste like duck sauce, which
wow.
Yeah. So
I love that idea.
It is a plum apricot Goza that eventually will be on our pilot batch series.
I want some dumplings right now.
Yeah,
I'm so excited. Yeah.
But so we do kind of.
That's oddly specific, by the way.
Very specific. I've been thinking about this for way too long, and so we do a lot of kind of unique off the wall things too. And if one of them really hits and it works well, we kind of put it into a more regular production.
You just throw it at the Velcro wall and see if it sticks. Right.
That's right.
You're never going to learn unless you try. Right.
Yeah. Well, I want to say that one of the things that I wanted to make sure that I shared with you today while you're here, and thank you so much for coming.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure
and doing the show. But your brewery is, I think, part of what makes me really proud to be from here. The fact that we have these things that we feel like you guys do such great stuff that we can. This is something I can talk to my friends who live in other places around the country and go, yeah, but we have Eureka Heights. I feel that way about St. Arnold and
Sure.
a number of the other places that are here. And it's great to be able to take this kind of community pride in what you do. And from the very beginning of this show, when you guys were one of our first guests, and we tried stuff that I'd never tried before in those growlers, to now when I can actually walk into HEB and buy Buckle Bunny, it's a pretty cool evolution
When
and a pretty
you
cool path
can
that you
Wicked
guys
Awesome, I'm going to try to buy every one of them.
Just you wait.
Yeah?
Just you wait.
Anything you can tell us?
Oh yeah, it's on the rotation. You will see it in cans in probably, I wouldn't know, maybe in the 6-7 months.
Is there,
can't wait.
not to go back into a retail question, but is there probably a limit to how many SKUs you can hold? In other words, does putting Wicked Awesome into stores mean you may have to give up another
Yeah,
SKU?
so we, again, going back to Buckle Bunny Mini Boss being our staples, they're always going to remain in stores. But like for Mostly Harmless, this is a rotator.
Okay,
So
right.
this, like I said, the Wow Factor will take the place of Mostly Harmless. And then at some point down the line, Wicked Awesome will take the place of this. Now,
So when that happens, will I still be able to get this like at a Specs or something, or will it go away for a while?
it will go away for a little while. I'm not going to confirm that it will go away forever. It
So
will.
this, for people who aren't in the business,
Yeah.
when we talk about different SKUs, that's basically how many different products you have on a shelf.
Sure.
And every company has to fight for a certain amount of
It's very valuable space.
Yes,
Yeah.
it has to fight for a certain amount of shelf space. And every time you put, like, for instance, if you have space for 3 SKUs, 3 different products, it doesn't matter to the company what those products are as long as they sell, but you have to pick and choose. So, for
Right.
instance, if
What's
you have
gonna fill
Buckle
that
Bunny
the best?
and Mini Boss on 2 of those SKUs, you only have 1 more room
Right.
for that third SKU. So that's just a heads up to the people who are.
So yeah,
following.
no, that's great. No, but yeah, you're gonna see even Mu Caliente is going to make its triumphant return.
Yeah, which that was one of the ones we tried that first time too. Yes.
Yeah, as I don't know if everybody knows, but Mu Caliente was recently removed from its spot on our main list of beers. It's not being made anymore with the exception of a seasonal release. So you're going to only be able to get Mu Caliente in cans and draft during the holidays.
Interesting. Okay.
It is, being that we're in the...
Tell everybody what style Mu Caliente is.
It is a spiced milk stout that is great for cold weather, but
And
not
it's-
for Houston heat.
And when you say spiced, you don't
Yeah.
mean cinnamon.
Oh, I do mean cinnamon.
Yeah, well-
I mean cinnamon. I mean cayenne pepper.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. It is a
and when you
spicy
say
beer.
not for warm weather, you mean it's good for about a week or 2 in Houston.
and it's styled around a kind of a Mexican hot chocolate. So
Yeah.
it's
Right,
perfect
right.
for that cold weather, and goes great with a December or a
It's
January.
a wonderful to serve at
Yeah.
Christmas parties. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we kind of retired Mu Caliente for a little while. We are going to throw a big going away party for it eventually, and then you'll start seeing it in a seasonal rotation.
That's awesome. Evan Camp is our guest today from Eureka Heights Brewing. Thank you so much. I have to tell you, you have. I won't tell you what you bumped out, but you have bumped into my top 5 with the So Hot right
I'm
now.
honored.
So I have to ask: once the season's over, will this come back ever?
It will come back. I think it's going to come back every year. It may come back in a stronger form. It's doing quite well right now. So yeah, I don't think you're gonna have to miss it.
Okay.
And you got to go by the brewery to get
Yes.
You guess where I'm going after the show.
And if anybody doesn't know
it.
about the
Directly affecting sales.
Yeah.
you don't know
that's right.
about the beer to go laws. This is a big proponent around that. You wouldn't be able
Yes.
to get this without having, there are certain breweries in Houston that are not allowed to serve beer to go.
Right.
And we're working towards and being advocates for that. We are still very fortunate being a brew pub that we can sell beer to go. So you're still able to get this at Eureka Heights.
But what is really cool that you're saying
Yeah.
is that even though you guys can do it
Right.
because you're classified as a brew pub,
Right.
you're still working and advocating for your competitors
Absolutely.
to be able to do
Absolutely.
it.
It's not
That's
fair
what's
to
so
them
cool.
if we can do it, and eventually it's going to affect us. We are growing, and the more we grow, our license is going to change, and we may not be able to sell beer to go. So this is a big thing for us to get behind now instead of waiting and seeing what the outcome is. So,
absolutely.
Reach out to your, your congressman, senator, and let them know that they need to support this.
Thank you very much for being on the show. We couldn't agree more. Gian, before we wrap it up, anything further on your end?
Yeah, I'm out of beer.
Oh,
well,
I got plenty
think we
for
can.
you.
I think we can solve that issue, and I also think you know what I want. I moved this strangely empty cup towards you a moment ago.
This?
Yes. Oh, wait. I only have a tiny grasp on it there. I didn't want to.
Oh, gotcha.
That beer's way too good to spill. Oh, see, and here I thought you were pouring me
so hot.
We're out of so hot.
No, you got 3 more cans right here.
You can open one.
This
Those are
works.
those are
This
yours.
works well for everybody. Thank you guys for tuning in for show number 138. Thanks to everybody involved. Thanks to Adam on the Wheels of Steel. Have a wonderful week, my friends, and cheers. Yeah, no. When you started pouring, I was holding the cup like this.
Just barely.
Like, there's no way I would have been able to hold on to that.